This morning at family worship, my son, who is 11, was reading, and my wife Jeanette and I were sitting on the futon, and he was in the his favorite red chair in the front room against the window, and he was reading, and we were both kind of exhorting him in this direction. Son, can you please articulate? And my sweetheart did a wonderful job in making all her points in a very fine American. Each word enunciated, every syllable, every T that might ordinarily be dropped in a slurring rush of conversation, every T marking and glinting upon her vocabulary as he took it all in. And he improved as he was reading in the book of Isaiah. He improved. And the same topic of mumbling came up yesterday at dinner. My mother came to visit us. I had a birthday, and she's a very sharp woman. She reads the Wall Street Journal cover to cover, it would seem, every day, and doesn't really know what Google is. So she has a very wonderfully selective way of reading national and international and business news, and she has a hard time hearing what we're saying. And she said, Americans are like that. They just mumble. They just say things, and they're just burbling along and not making themselves clear. Well, I think in her case, the fact that we are mumbling, if we don't talk directly to her with slightly elevated tones, we are mumbling. It could be just a bit of hardness of hearing. And the whole question of mumbling came up again at my house in the past couple of days. I've taken the son. We have intellectual and spiritual work, and I'm thinking of combining them. And in this way, he has a duty to work with me through memorization. He's memorized, I think, all of Christ's parables, and we're going through the Westminster Shorter Catechism for a second time, which is, I don't know, 120 or 30 questions about the basic Christian doctrine. And I thought, well, here I am enjoying my French Bible, which is the 1910 Louis II edition. My copy is just tattered as can be, but I bought it used down at All Books from Mrs. Henry, and so I said, well, maybe we could have Jacob do his French lessons. This 11-year-old boy or 12-year-old boy do his French lessons by memorizing the beautiful diction of the French edition. And sure enough, he resisted at first, but the next day he was very open to memorizing. And of course, when you're learning a foreign language, the pronunciation is extremely important. And so we labor over how to say these things. And he insisted, well, today we'll just do 2 verses. Tomorrow we'll do the next. Tomorrow we'll do the 4th, and so on. So I was very glad to hear as we launched this on Sunday that he is open to not mumbling and to getting the pronunciation just right and to forcing his mouth around these strange words, these foreign words, which are on a familiar territory, right? The ground that he is memorizing is one he's already memorized in English, in the New King James edition of the scriptures. So I mentioned these 3 things because they're all about articulating and versus mumbling, versus saying things in a kind of burble where you're not exactly understood, and in a way you think somehow you don't have to be understood. You can just throw things out there and people will just agree. And I had a conversation, in fact, this morning with a man, and I couldn't understand what he said, and finally I said, well, I understand. I pretended to understand what he said, thinking it was a minor point and didn't really matter because I just couldn't have him articulate what it was. And so there you go. When it doesn't quite come through, you just pretend that you understand. I think in our situation here in Chattanooga, as we look at it here at Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m., and at our show, Nuganomics.com, we have the question of mumbling and the story that we're supposed to understand, that we all pretend we understand, but we're not catching it, right? The story that we're not catching is that of national economy, the national economy versus local economy. Local economy, I'd like to suggest, is my son articulating the words that he reads and saying every syllable, and in fact exaggerating it a little bit, right? So that the words will transfer in our front room this morning, as they did across our ratty carpet, across the coffee table that's piled up with books and pens and coasters with rings on them, to the parents sitting there. That's local economy. Local economy it's clear, it's more forceful, and you want to catch it all. National economy, we're being told things that maybe aren't true, maybe not true. We're hearing things that we don't really understand about the bond markets. We're hearing things about the bond markets, and they're not true, maybe, right? And we're pretending that we understand. We pretend that we understand. Well, that's my goal here, is to articulate national economy, and to suggest to you that what you're hearing about the national economy, national prosperity, national economic growth, right? National investment potential. These are really just kind of mumblings, and you're not going to catch it straight, and you're going to pretend that you understand it, right? You're going to pretend that everything is at your level, you get it, and you're going to invest your money in national economy. And in fact, you're selling one share and you're going to another, and you're having your broker, who's going to make a fee on this deal, he's going to switch from one mutual fund to the other. He's going to do it for you, right? He'll get his commission, and he's giving you advice, and he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he thinks that you think that he does, and so he's going to make statements that he has heard repeated from his mutual fund notice, the daily email, right, that all these brokers get. And he's going to repeat these lines as if they were his own. There was the fruit of his own analysis. And you, my listener, are going to switch mutual funds, one fund into the other, to take the long-term view, right? To have a long-term view, averaging out the roughness in the economy, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this is David Toulis, and I do thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. I wanted to articulate one thing about prosperity in the direction of your car, right? You need a car. You have a son who's of age, right? He's working on getting his driver's license, and you're thinking about buying a car. Let me make a recommendation. Go to Automax. Automax is an unpretentious little car lot on Highway 58, just opposite Central High School. And the owner has a terrific advantage that we want to tell you about, and that is he has a minimal overhead. No staff. It's Louis and his wife Melanie, and they sell cars. They buy good quality used cars, and they do everything. Well, Louis really does everything. He buys, cleans, repairs, sells, manages, takes cars to garages to get them fixed, and all those things are his. And baked into his business plan as a small entrepreneur is price and quality advantage. Automax is the name of the dealer. Automax, the number is 643 auto, or you could say 643-2886. That's 643-2886. Make sure if you go there that you are hearing my suggestion, that you pass my name along, pass reference to our AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio along to Louis. That would be good for us, and he likes to know where his new customers come from, why they have come to him. Well, the national economy story is about mumbling, and a famous writer that defends honesty in national economy and honorableness in local economy, and in fact all economies, is a Frenchman named Frédéric Bastiat. He has a very famous book that, in fact, I recommended to a man at church who has a 12-year-old son at Macaulay, and the gentleman asked, well, what can my son read? Well, at Nukenomics.com, I have an essay that I posted a few months ago about books for young teen boys, right? This is a series of short volumes that includes The Law by Bastiat. And Bastiat was a French conservative, and among the things he points out is you might say the malice of law, the fact that everything is a law, especially when you have ambitious political figures and ambitious political systems, as we do here. Everything becomes, in the end, a law. And think of all these abuse by police. The police abuse wave is the story of the year. That is the story of the year. Suddenly, we're understanding what police really are. We're understanding how, with a minor infraction like selling Lucy cigarettes or or evading child support, are all things, carrying a knife or dealing in some small scale illegal substance. These are all things that can take your life from you, that can end up with the ruination of your business, the seizure of your assets. Bastiat said, the law has placed the collective force at the disposal of the unscrupulous who wish, without risk, to exploit the person, liberty, and property of others. It has converted plunder into a right in order to protect plunder. And it has converted lawful defense into a crime in order to punish lawful defense. And he goes on to say, sometimes the law places the whole apparatus of judges, police, prisons, and gendarmes at the service of the plunderers and treats the victim, when he defends himself, as a criminal. If you go to Nuganomics.com, the website for the man who matters here in Chattanooga, you can read about this through the very important work of Roger Roots. He has an extended legal essay, which I have republished in segments. His name is Roger Roots, Roots, and he has explained this whole process in an amply footnoted study. The question at the title of his law review article is, are cops constitutional? And the answer is, they're not. And we are past, I think we're maybe past the time of solving things by constitutional government and constitutional law, since it has been overthrown mostly by the modern state, right? The welfare warfare state has largely overthrown the Constitution, is operating illicitly in many ways, in a kind of parallel government, a kind of double government. And Bastiat wants to know, is the law what the state says it is, or is the law something that we can claim, if it is a good law that defends the innocent and the righteous, is it a good law? He wanted to know what the law is apart from what the state says it is. The state says the law is one thing, but is the law really something different? Is it something that you and I perhaps can claim? Well, my thinking is that the answer is yes. We need to claim the law in our benefit. And I've been thinking a lot lately about a statute that no lawyer in our state has challenged. It is in Title 55 of the Tennessee Code, pertaining to driver's licenses. Do you know that if you read the statute, the plain structure of the statute, and related enforcement mechanisms of the driver's license law, do you realize? Well, you don't. Let me just tell you. You should realize, you should think about my proposal, that the whole driver's license scheme is entirely voluntary. And it's voluntary by the way the law is written. And the law is written to make it a consent-based system. Why? Because the state in 1937 dared not offend anybody's constitutional right when it created the commercial driver's license scheme, and which is in Title Chapter 50 of Title 55. That whole book deals with automobiles and so on. But the permission, the ostensible permission, the creation of driving as a privilege, is indeed a privilege, but only for people in commerce. And if you're not in commerce, well, then you enter that system voluntarily. And what about your son, right? The young man who's going to buy his car with your co-signing it, I'm pretty sure, at Automax on Highway 58. What about him? He's working on his driver's license? Well, we do that as a matter of habit. It is customary, though I would like to suggest it's not compulsory. Where is the bar when it comes to these kinds of liberties? Where is the bar in Chattanooga? Meaning the lawyer crowd, right? all these people who study the law and have, as far as I can tell, have not challenged this machinery by raising the correct arguments. If you make the correct question, you will get the right answer to your question. If you raise the wrong question in defending some driver's license defendant, you will get the right answer to the wrong question, and you will not solve anything and not bring about any kind of reform. The state seems to be, in many ways, a lawbreaker, and Bastiat takes notice of the corruption that ensues when the state turns out to be a lawbreaker in the name of keeping the law. The state does the very thing that the law is supposed to prevent. Instead of protecting private property, Jeffrey Tucker says, it invades it. Instead of protecting life, it destroys it. Instead of guarding liberty, it violates it. As the state advances and grows, it does these things ever more until it threatens the well-being of society. And even more tellingly, Bastiat observes that when you subject the state to the same standards that the law uses to judge relationships between individuals, the state, the national economy, the government economy fails. It fails. And Tucker says that Bastiat concludes that when this is the case, the law has been perverted in the hands of the governing elites. It is employed to do the very thing that it was designed to prevent. The enforcer turns out to be the main violator of its own standards. And that is a compelling point. And we have to ask ourselves, is it possible to secede from it? Well, in some ways. Is it possible to fight it? Not directly. That's kind of my answer. And I have this, and I want to get to the whole idea of mumbling. And the mumbling conception is as I suggest, very evident when we talk about, you might say, the cons, the cons of the national economy. And there are bunches of them. And among the ones that I would mention are those that Charles Hugh Smith, one of my favorite free market defenders, very well worth reading, points out. For example, if you buy organic vegetables or organic foodstuffs from another country, how do you know that it's organic? How do you know that the soil in which those non-pesticide sprayed vegetables were grown did not have aluminum in it, did not have industrial waste, which is used in modern fertilizer, right? You know, modern fertilizer is a rational use of industrial waste from war making, according to a writer named Engdahl, who has written a book on this topic. Well, it's the idea that organic, especially when it comes from faraway places, is truly beneficial to you. That is a kind of a con that I might say it's kind of a BS that we are to watch out for. And another one would be employment and unemployment statistics. 93 million people aren't even counted anymore. They're statistical zombies, he says, no longer among the living workforce. If the unemployment rate were calculated on the number of full-time jobs and the true workforce, everyone ages 18 to 70 that's not institutionalized or in prison, the unemployment rate would not be the absurdly delusional 5.6% claimed by the people he describes as bureaucratic con artists. And then, of course, there's the whole Hillary Clinton. The whole Clinton crowd are just people of bribery, chicanery, flimflammery. He says they're kind of official grifters. And she is a candidate for president. She's taken seriously. And of course, Bill with their Clinton Foundation is just a kind of glorification of all the things that they stand for, the kind of falsehoods that are that whole operation just teems with you could call corruption. And in fact, the con in national economy is politics. Politics is largely a national phenomenon. Even though we have local Republicans and local Democrats, everyone does everything in terms of the names of the national stars. And Smith says that the entire American political system is a con. The whole thing is what he says, a sleazy mix of legalized bribes, auctioning off of favors, revolving doors between government agencies and the corporations that they enrich, and the blatant hypocrisy of snake oil salespeople who know the marks, who are the voters, face just false choices between the two parties. The two parties are the same poison sold under a different label. And another important one that we're all kind of in the grip of is the boom in China. If you look at the Shanghai Stock Exchange, it has it's reached its first 10,000. It's at 50,000, and it's in the parabolic curve that goes up almost vertically, and that of course is that machinery of under the rise is credit, bank credit issued by the banking sector, all of which of course violates the integrity of the yuan, which is a non-referential currency. It can only be violated, right? It can't be truthful currency at all, like the dollar once was. The political system is an unreformable cesspool, he says, and our and we're not in national economy going to prosper at all. I think we can do better here in national economy, and there's some points that we're going to need to get to that there are answers that are unexpected. There are answers which are very small that I think if we consider them, we will come out ahead. There's a famous, a noted constitutional attorney, John Whitehead from the Rutherford Institute. He has 10 ways to get out of the system, and when I read them, I realized we're not getting out of the system at all, and it's all bleak. The whole analysis that he gives at LouRockwell.com it's bleak. It's bleak. Is there something we can do positive? Well, there is. It's called local economy and the free market.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Right now, you can save half off at hotnewstalkradio.com. Go to hotnewstalkradio.com and click half off for exceptional deals on new and pre-owned unique quality items. For Hamilton County residents only. Save half off at Jet's Pizza, golf clubs, coffee, tea, a real sword, jewelry, and much more. It's half off. Go to half off at hotnewstalkradio.com right now, then click on half off to save big. Be sure to join us live Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. as we bring you lots of fantastic deals right here, AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. hotnewstalkradio.com and half off. Surf our site and ride the wave of savings. We've got a table here at Delia's in Saudi Daisy, ready to delight in a plate of authentic Mexican food. Delia's spreads a rich selection, loaded nachos, crazy chicken, homemade tamales, maybe the enchiladas with beef, chicken, pork, quesadillas, every dish beautifully pictured on the menu to help us decide. Join us for lunch or dinner. We're at Delia's in Saudi Daisy on Dayton Pike near the Thrasher Light. Here's dinner. Delia's uses the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection. Nachos, homemade. Delia's open every day except the Lord's Day. For lunch and dinner, treat yourself to Delia's genuine Mexican food. In Saudi, call 521-7145. That's 521-7145.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Are you tired of working in corporate America, or have you recently lost your job and would like to consider owning your own business? If you are, please call me, as I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that fit you, the economy that we're in, and the type of businesses that are right in the greater Chattanooga area. After I help my clients find the right opportunity, I also help them find the best way to finance the business, including paying yourself through the startup phase. If you would like to learn more about opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My name is Bruce Krebs at the Entrepreneur Source. Phone number is 423-875-5621.
Hi, this is your computer speaking. I don't feel so well. It's like I've come down with a bug, and I'm getting slower.
Affordable Computers. We fix sick computers. Your hometown guys at Affordable Computers will repair your PC in half the time of the big boys at an affordable price. No tricks, no gimmicks, no computer speak technobabble, just good, quick, and courteous affordable service and repairs. Want to affordably supercharge your PC? Affordable Computers on Highway 58. Affordable Computers hand builds all desktops in-house. If you're looking for a better than new refurb laptop, $150 will get you a Dell or another name brand at Affordable Computers. Affordable Computers, Highway 58 between Arby's and Taco Bell. Also Fort O, Battlefield Parkway near Holcomb's. Affordable Computers, we service what we sell. Call 499-1975. That's 499-1975.
Wow, this is amazing. I'm feeling great. Supercharged.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Do you feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. $9907. Ducks. Call now.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga.